Hi friends, happy Monday. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and a super fun Easter. I know I did, and I really enjoyed being with my family and having breakfast together. Some traditions that we usually do with my whole family, but it was still nice to do that with my mom and my dad. So I hope you had a good weekend, and I am here again with another read aloud. So today's story is called Stone Soup, and it is by Anne McGovern, and the pictures are by Winslow Penny Pels. So the author, the person who wrote this book, is Anne, and the illustrator, the person that drew the pictures, is Winslow. Taking a look at the cover of this book, what are some predictions that you have? What do you think might happen? So when I make predictions, I am looking closely at the characters in the story. So who is in the story? I'm looking closely at what it looks like they're doing, where it looks like they are, so the setting. Looks like they have some soup, which is why it's called Stone Soup, probably. And it looks like there's an old woman and a young boy, and we will read to see what happens. Stone Soup by Anne McGovern, pictures by Winslow Penny Pels. A young man was walking. He walked and he walked. He walked all night, and he walked all day. He was tired, and he was hungry. He sure looks really tired and hungry. Isn't it cool how on this page the A is made with those two pieces of wood? It's really creative, huh? At last, he came to a big house. "What a fine house," he said. "There will be plenty of food for me here." He knocked on the door. A little old lady opened it. "Good lady," said the young man, "I am very hungry. Can you give me something to eat?" "I have nothing to give you," said the little old lady. "I have nothing in the house. I have nothing in the garden." And she began to close the door. "Stop," said the young man. "If you will not give me something to eat, will you give me a stone?" What do you think he wants a stone for? Well, the story is called Stone Soup. I wonder. "A stone?" said the little old lady. "What will you do with a stone? You cannot eat a stone." "Ah," said the young man, "I can make soup from a stone." Now the little old lady had never heard of that. Make soup from a stone? Fancy that. "There are stones in the road," said the little old lady. The young man picked up a round gray stone. "This stone will make wonderful soup," he said. "Now get me a pot." Do you think that there's a nicer way that he could have asked for a pot? We talked about that in one of our videos a couple weeks ago, about using our manners and saying please and thank you. I think he could have said, "Can you please get me a pot?" Don't you agree? The little old lady got a pot. "Fill the pot with water and put it on the fire," the young man said. The little old lady did as she was told, and soon the water was bubbling in the pot. Man, he sure is being very demanding. Did you hear how he said to do that? Fill the pot with water and put it on the fire. He didn't even ask her. He didn't even say please again, but she did it. There's that crow, still with him. The young man put the round gray stone into the pot. Now we will wait for the stone to cook into soup, he said. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, "This soup is cooking fast." "It is cooking fast now," said the hungry young man, "but it would cook faster with some onions." So the little old lady went to the garden to get some yellow onions. I think he's trying to trick her. I thought she didn't have any food in her garden. Into the pot went the yellow onions with the gray round stone. "Soup from a stone," said the little old lady. "Fancy that." The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, "This soup smells good." "It smells good now," said the hungry young man, "but it would smell better with some carrots." There she is with all those onions. Look at all that food in her garden. Man, he sure is a trickster. So the little old lady went out to the garden and pulled up all the carrots she could carry. Into the pot went the long, thin carrots with the yellow onions and the round gray stone. "Soup from a stone," said the little old lady. "Fancy that." The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, "This soup tastes good." "It tastes good now," said the hungry young man, "but it would taste better with beef bones." There she is with her carrots. Look at that silly boy, balancing that carrot on his nose. So the little old lady went to get some juicy beef bones. Into the pot went the juicy beef bones, and the long thin carrots, and the yellow onions, and the round gray stone. "Soup from a stone," said the little old lady. "Fancy that." The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, "This soup is fit for a prince." "It is fit for a prince now," said the hungry young man, "but it would be fit for a king with a bit of pepper and a handful of salt." Did you see the dog crying? I think he's crying because she's taking his bones. Silly. So the little old lady got the pepper and the salt. Into the pot went the bit of pepper and the handful of salt, with the juicy beef bones and the long thin carrots and the yellow onions and the round gray stone. "Soup from a stone," said the little old lady. "Fancy that." The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady said, "This soup is too thin." "It is too thin now," said the hungry young man, "but it would be nice and thick with some butter and barley." So the little old lady went to get butter and barley. Into the pot went the butter and barley, with the bit of pepper and the handful of salt and the juicy beef bones and the long thin carrots and the yellow onions and the round gray stone. I think she's making her butter from scratch with some milk from the cows. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. The pot bubbled and bubbled. After a while, the little old lady tasted the soup again. That is good soup, she said. Yes, said the hungry young man. This soup is fit for a king. Now we will eat it. Stop, said the little old lady. This soup is indeed fit for a king. Now I will set a table fit for a king. So she took out her best tablecloth and her best dishes. He sure has tricked her. Then the little old lady and the hungry young man ate all the soup. The soup made with the butter and barley and the bit of pepper and the handful of salt and the juicy beef bones and the long thin carrots and the yellow onions and the round gray stone. Soup from a stone, said the little old lady. Fancy that. Now I must be on my way, said the young man. He took the stone out of the pot and put it into his pocket. Why are you taking the stone? Said the little old lady. Well, said the young man, the stone is not cooked enough. I will have to cook it some more tomorrow. And the young man said, Goodbye. She looks kind of confused. She even put her hands on her head like this. He walked on down the road. He walked and walked. What a fine supper I will have tomorrow, he said to himself. Soup from a stone. Fancy that. What a silly, tricky boy. Did he really make soup from the stone? Or was he just tricky and he had to use other ingredients and other things too, right? Silly boy, silly book. Well, I would love to hear your opinion of this story today. So I made another video where I am teaching you all about a new unit of writing that we are starting called informational writing. And we're learning about informational writing, but we're not quite ready to start doing it on our own yet, to start writing it on our own. So I still would like you guys to work on your book review writing and your journal writing. So today we are writing a book review on the book Stone Soup by Anne McGovern, pictures by Winslow Penny Pells. So you will write your name up here and the book's title and your opinion of the book. So the opinion is your thoughts and your feelings. Did you really like it? Or did you not like it that much? You will sketch a picture of your thoughts and feelings. So maybe you're going to sketch your favorite part, or maybe you're going to sketch your least favorite part. There's no right or wrong when it comes to your opinion. You can write your opinion and draw your opinion on whatever it is that how you felt about it. Then you will write. So you will say, I liked when, or I did not like when. And remember, there's lots of different things that you can have opinions on when you write book reviews. You could write about the characters. So maybe there's a favorite character that you had, or a character that you didn't really like. Or maybe there's a favorite part of this story, or maybe a part that you didn't really like. Or maybe you had a favorite picture in the story, or maybe a picture that you didn't like. So you're going to decide what you're going to write about. You're going to start out, I like, or I do not like, and then you're going to give your reason, because, and you're going to tell why you have that opinion. Lastly, do not forget to give your recommendation for the book. So you can say, I think you should read this book, you should read this book, or you should not read this book. It is up to you. So I can't wait to see your book reviews about today's story, Stone Soup. And make sure you go ahead and check out the new writing video on informational reports. And also, as you are writing, whether it's a journal writing or a book review writing, or even when we start our informational writing, don't forget to use your editing checklist. This is so important when you are writing because it helps to make your writing very neat and organized for the person reading. So we always make sure that we start our sentence with a capital letter, and the rest of our letters in our sentence should be lowercase. We also always make sure that we stop our sentence with punctuation. So we can use a period or an exclamation point to show excitement or to show feelings, or even a question mark if we are asking a question. We also make sure that we are using correct spelling for our sight words. We should all know how to write our sight words, or keep practicing so that we do know how to write our sight words. And if you do not know how to spell a word, then say it slowly, stretch it out, and write the sounds that you hear. And lastly, very important, we always make sure that we put finger spaces between our words so that we can see where one word stops and another one starts. So no matter what, I want you guys to make sure that you are trying to use your editing checklist, whatever kind of writing you are doing, and keep up the amazing work, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys!